All right, it's okay. This one down too. There we go. Okay. All right. Bring both sessions, board directors, policy about one district to order. Tuesday, August 25th, 6:01 p.m. Go ahead, John.
Okay, satellite office, meeting with Public County, we had that, what was it, last Wednesday? Neil?
Yeah.
It was last Wednesday, there was VFC, Rye and us that attended it. They kind of went through what they're expecting, what they're looking at, VFC, what days they can offer and that kind of stuff, but they haven't put anything down as complete. Rye is very interested into it. The board chief felt would be going along with this to match what we do, so. But, they won't have a vote on it and stuff until after the first meeting in, September, which is the Wednesday after ours. So, but it looks like they are willing to, meet us halfway and, help us with our side too.
All right, so to clarify that, first meeting halfway, the board voted on $500. So as far as actually subtracting anything from that for Rise input, we have not.
We have not. So we won't know that until after they have their board meeting.
We have committed to $500.
Yes.
And if Rise commits to whatever, that'll be in addition to that $500.
We can, no, we'll
fix
that. I thought
Unless
you
we
guys
change it.
wanted to
No, we
share it, right?
We voted on $500. If we're gonna change it, then we need to vote to do that.
Okay. I agree. My understanding is you guys wanted me to.
We can explore about
with Rye to come up with something.
Yeah.
To help us.
That
So it wouldn't be a whole 500 against.
No, we voted on 500. So if we did not vote to subtract from our 500, whatever Rise would vote on 500.
Would do that. All right, no problem. So next, we have the RJH contract. We had, Bob and Green. We all sat down and met on it yesterday and reviewed what they have to do, what they have to say back from, on the contract. And, I'll let Green, you wanna go forward with what you.
and actually, I'm gonna say we because we'll work on it, but honestly, Bob did an outstanding job of breaking down the implications of the contract. And when we went down the action items or what they were requesting, some of the work had already been carried out by the firm, and the contract allowed them to back on the additional work if it was requested by the state dam engineer, which it was. So we cannot, the contract with RJH allowed them to up to a certain amount, say, hey, if the state dam engineer requires 2 more geotechnical borings, we will go ahead and do it. The contract allows them, we cannot take it back. So in that regard, they were acting within the framework of the agreement we have with. They split it up, and here it goes. On the split of the change order request they put in for July 9th, the main one that we can keep it as incidental. Again, they cannot act on that one without our blessing, if we would, Mr. Chairman, would be the assistance with loan and grant applications. Everything else that we saw, it's within, and please, correct me if I'm wrong, but everything else was within the bounds of what their original contract allowed them to. And we need to get done so that we can put this behind us and move towards the actual construction.
Mr. Chairman, to add to that, I did confirm that the SEO state required changes came in the first same year as the legal contract. So it didn't happen after the period of concern that occurred that the work done before the SEO added requirements. It was between January and September. So there was not the SEO requirements happened pretty timely. And as it said, the engineering technical work has already been completed, but some contractors involved before we've done the work. We're down to pretty much only a couple passed on there, the ones about the low grant work and the one for doing scope on surveys and looking at depth of your potential. As Greg said, they can't do that work without authorization from Jim on that, but it's the, of the total 135,000 children right now, that only accounts for about $14,000. Can't be done with approval of the change order unless Jim authorizes that. The rest of the work, yeah.
So they submitted an improper bid to start with.
No,
And I can't say that because the SEO requirements came September after the contract with the warrants. The SEO added some requirements based on.
And pertaining to the geotechnical scope of the contract, unfortunately, when you are performing work and geotechnical investigations underground, there are no particular ways of knowing what's in there. And it behooves all of us to be on the side of caution when modifying a dam. We don't want to do anything that causes the dam to fail, because at that point, the $30,000 that we saved are gonna be the way the least of our issues should the dam. I mean, it already has an acceleration by all means. Starting, not saying fail, but it is starting to cause concerns, and that's why we're endeavoring all this. So the state dam engineers that requested the additional borings, they're just being extremely cautious when it comes to not saving pennies and risking the dam. So in that regard, I could in good conscience go after them on that.
Mr. Chairman, I would just share that in the minutes from the meeting in September of that year, the SEO was, yes, the SEO was specifically concerned about the detail on the limestone area and the information that was brought forward from the scope of the contract and the design. They said they wanted to take extra cautions, and it's either we did in the minutes of the meeting at the end of September. During the last paragraph, there's a summary of what the SEO wanted done.
Well, it sounds like, is any of this, is most of this just to work because of raising the dam 10 feet before 10 foot? The potential, or is it just because of mitigation dam everywhere?
There was concerns about the water flowing through the limestone, causing the condition that would create later downstream. There was one reference to the raising of the dam by the SEO that they wanted to get some filters put in that they would protect from the extra.
I just read these very specific like that. There was issues about raising or the additional weight of the additional water if we were filtering.
It was around that program. They wanted it in the design in case the Metro decides to go forward with this. But then I'm saying, Mr. Chairman, I can't find fault to with the change order on any basis. Certainly done with the descriptions and connecting the dots between the SEO requirements and the work. We'll see excess or something that should have done.
Well, then I would suggest that if we're going to, a change order, I would suggest that we put in some kind of clause in this change order about expecting performance. RGH, on the item 6 schedule of September 29, 2023, RGH expected to have a design package ready for SEO review in April 2024. Here we are a year and a half later. They're still not done. So I'm not happy with a change order unless we expect some performance out of RGH. There needs to be some kind of clause, items, there needs to be some kind of clause that lets them know that we expect performance.
Mr. Chair, if I could suggest, similar to what Green did with the Swedish contract, let's get a schedule required. They have to specify performance dates when they get it done and do it specific.
And if they don't get it done, what's the remedy.
Unfortunately, the contract, because I read it pretty thoroughly multiple times, doesn't really give you anything that
There's
the language of the contract. Unfortunately, says, their cost is an estimate, and, the real actual cost go higher than.
Is there any reason we can't put a clause in the change order then? That requires the state?
The remedy, let's do it,
Yes.
we'll have to negotiate that with them, but they have to have to say no to that. We'll be in the boat of, 90% freedom to design and install.
That's the thing is give me a time and a date, whether you wanna complete it at, you want 100% design done by January 1st or February 1st. And I can talk to them as this reasonable time for you to get done. We'd like to put this in the block with my contract.
Jim, we've talked to them so many times now that I feel like talking to them is absolutely worth it. This should have been done April 2024. And we're talking to them about work.
If we get it written,
And if I may, the milestones have to be clear because being done, just for word, it's submitted to the state engineer's office.
Yeah.
For review. And then because the state engineer's office, that's, they don't know, we don't know if they're gonna take 2 weeks to review or 3 months to review and approve. And by the way, the approval, never in my career from any reviewing agency that I've sat in or worked with, being in and around government, will ever give you a response that it's flawless. There will be comments that may merit work to amend their concerns, and then a secondary submission that then opens the window to an extra 60 days of review. It usually doesn't happen, I'm thinking the worst case scenario, but it warrants us to keep it in mind that it could happen.
You need to get to that point though.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest if I could, Randy has a very specific experience with these kind of projects, with some call-outs and milestones, but I do believe that God is insufficient. He needs some interim milestones so we can demonstrate progress, and then have a basis by which to hold them accountable for performance against them. And of course, things happen, but it's not like they're out in the field of rain and they just got
And I would expect them not to charge us to put together the project now.
We can, I mean, I would say if we move forward with the change order, they should submit a small schedule of activities. There are some that are required, require them to go out because the technical investigations have to go out. I mean, no, they did those already. So yeah, no, there's no excuse for it.
Or any, so yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the best way we should get what we want is to bring on a call with them to be very clear on what we need or what we're putting in writing.
Yeah.
So that we don't have a question that we just say, done as a milestone. We want
My only addition would be, I would be okay with, I mean, the number, we beat it at senselessly. But it would be the conditional approval conditioned upon the submittal of a schedule with the milestones between now and when the first submittal for the state engineer's office is. And then, I mean, at that point, there is no external factor. If they say, well, we had another contract, and at that point, you're being irresponsible by not prioritizing hours. Don't take work if you do not handle.
I'd like to see that first.
Before the approval?
Yes.
Okay.
They can do that quickly, so, but we'll be waiting till the next board meeting to position. it.
Actually, if I may, why don't we go on the offense and say condition upon submittal to the state engineer's office by this date? Let them come back and say, no, it will be this other date and justify why. Because otherwise,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, say like, okay, we will approve it on the condition that it will be submitted to the SEO by
February 1st.
yeah, February 1st. And then if they say, well, that's too soon, we need May. I say, absolutely, unacceptable.
We're giving them 5 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
So, this question for you, are we, under any kind of, pressure from the engineer's office?
Yeah, they're always in pressure.
I know, but are they breathing down our necks? Is that a leverage for us to use that kind of language with them.
Yeah.
So that's how I think we might put that together. The state is breathing down our neck.
Yeah.
We need this by then, and we will approve it then, when you guarantee us those dates.
So that way,
Something like that.
so that way it works out with our schedule, with our runoff and all of that, that we don't put us in a bind that we don't have water for the following year.
What's the contingency plan if they don't go along with it?
We should discuss it.
I feel like we just wrote a blank check. They're using every way they can.
But, you know, on the same aspect of this, kicking the can down the road, and the more we do, the longer it's gonna take, and our deadlines are gonna be shot.
In support of that, Mr. Chairman, conditional approval doesn't give them the excuse of moving it 2 more weeks or 3 more weeks on the design. They should be working that design hard and fast now, bring it to closure. We need to also protect ourselves, in my opinion, from any chance they could have as an excuse based on our delays on finalizing the change order. So if we can do a conditional approval with this language, which I think, quite frankly, is pretty low risk, gives them quite a window of time to get the design done. Then we can get up some of our risk too.
So I think in answer to your question about what happens if they don't approve, you're right, that is a problem. But at some point, we need to expect performance, and that becomes a legal issue. That's not pleasant.
Any other questions, concerns? Okay, we had
Can I say something? I'd like to thank, Bob and Kareem for all the extra work you put in on this. When I was looking over a lot of the technical details of this, it was over my head. So I appreciate you again broke it down, took a look at it.
Here, here.
Thank you.
So next, we have WSRF. We had a meeting with WSRF. That's the water reserve.
We jumped over the RFP again. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it. Okay, RFP addendum. Green and I went through with the addendum. There was a couple of things that needed to be improved on because of the questions that came back from, the people that looked at it. So Green helped me, which great help, with some of the language and how we needed to put it in there. We did extend the date until September 15th.
We'll leave a little bit more.
No, September 15th.
Yes, is it?
Yeah, from August 25th to September 15th. So, that, okay, we put this in, as we did send it out to, there was six, I believe, six engineering groups that looked at it. We had one drop out. But who knows, they might be helping somebody else, but they were looking at maybe teaming up because they weren't big enough to do it. If they're interested in anything else we have out in the market when it comes to that.
Questions, board? I have a question. Why is the CMDC construction manager general contractor, why is it felt that needs to be deleted?
So Mr. Chairman, the reason we went away from that, and again, I want to make sure that we all understand, while the contract modality, it's going away from CNGC towards just a mere best value, it's still going to be best value, not best price. The reason why we moved away from CMGC is because the edge that CMGC provides, it's by being able to select a contractor to participate in finalizing the designs which they will eventually construct. Now, because usually a CMGC, the best return of investment comes when you engage a contractor at about 30% plans. Right now, our RJH Engineering's plans sit at around 90%. So looking at it, we talked to, and that's the vast majority of the questions we received from, I believe, Wilson, Roxall, and Basis Partners. All three firms reached out to say, you are way too down the curve to do a CMGC responsibly. You're just making, I mean, it's still gonna have advantages, but just transition to a best value in which an owner's rep will help put a construction management team to look at the 90% plans and issue comments instead of going straight in contract, bringing in a contractor to help finalize the plans. So if I'm getting too technical, let me know and I'll try to rephrase it in another way.
No, I think that makes sense, but that dilutes the this position, it appears, as an owner's rep rather than a construction manager or general contractor. So this position is diluted quite a lot by taking out that phrase.
Not necessarily. So it's still an owner's rep that will be in the hook, for lack of a better word. Rather, let me rephrase that. Whose responsibility will be safeguard the Metro District's interest in preparing a competitive best value RFP in which the contract is one of guaranteed maximum price where they cannot try to change orders to death, in which they have, and these owners rep companies what differentiates them from your standard mom and pop engineering firm, they have dedicated construction management teams that oversee multi-million dollars, hundreds of millions of dollar contracts for the state, for utilities, etc., that will look at the 90% plans and sit down with RJH, with the SEO, issue comments that make it so that the construction of the plan is optimized. It is very different to, and again, as somebody who sat as a design engineer and an EIT for many years, it's very different. Everything looks beautiful, flat, and white on paper. When you bring somebody that has actually been breathing the dust and kicking the mud to see the plans and say, that's not going to happen. Well, why not? Well, if you see the picture of the aerial, there's a 500-pound rock in the middle that we're going to have to move behind. That's just an example. They have a different angle, and they will put these people to help us make sure that the plans that do get approved by the SEO for us to go construct are as good and as sharp with the best value incentive, let's call it. Because again, and I will reiterate to the board, I'm adamant in one thing: projects that exceed a certain price amount, we should not be going best price, because contractors will lowball the offer and then make it our headache for them to change orders to death. That's across the board, industry standard almost, unfortunately.
RGH as an example, yes.
Mr. President. So, Kareem, what you're saying is by removing that language, we did not lose any of what you just described.
Yes, sorry, I ran that. Yes, that was intentional. But yeah, we didn't diminish our position. We just rephrased it to go in accordance where we are with the maturity of the design plans. And so going forward without creating undue risks and uncertainties for both the owner's rep and the Metro District.
And you're saying that as far as for an owner's rep, rather than construction manager, general contractor, we don't have the in-house ability to do that.
Not right. Hard. Could you rephrase? What do you mean in-house? Like us?
Yes.
No. You need a full-time project engineer with experience with that kind of stuff to run those farms.
Well, to run the project or project plan, certainly. But to be an owner's rep, to select a contractor or to oversee the engineering and select a contractor.
The owner's rep will do that in our behalf.
And we don't have that ability.
Not yet, not until we onboard an owner's rep to do it. That's correct.
Board?
Feel good about the language. It's tied to the fact 30% is where the design was expected to be used. That's the reference we were seeing to. Did we lose us any of what we were trying to accomplish
with this approach.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, WSRF, we had a meeting with them last Wednesday. On Monday morning, they sent me an email saying that the board is going to meet and we are not recommending their project. So I emailed them right back and said, we need to know why your recommendation is as well. So they had about 5, 6 different bullet points. Sat down with me and Carolyn and Daniel. We all read through it. We went through the whole thing, sent them answers to all them bullet points as to why we were able to get it to them about 5 hours before the meeting. And we asked them to give it to the board. The board sat down, we went through the meeting with them. They came out and said, well, we got this from them just right before the meeting, and we did give it to the board. The board reviewed everything that we had put down and their recommendations, and they stayed behind their recommendations. Well, with WSRF, they're only able to allow like $5 million loan grant to us. They don't have the money, which this is a $20 and $22 million project. Our biggest funder is USDA, which we haven't got an answer back from them, which they told us we should be getting an answer back from them October 1st, which this was going to be a stack on anyway. But the board came out and they said, we are going to go with the recommendations, but with this caveat, directing to their staff that they need to assist us with the next draft opportunity, which is going to January 1st, which at January 1st is, you should have something in by USDA and what they're offering with their package. So that way, when we go back in to ask them, we can reapply and get everything works well. Right now, with our enforcement and all of that, our plans, our EDF is all sent in to the state at this point, at this time. We have 6 months after the state approves before we have to have everything. So we're still in play. Carolyn and I and Daniel and Nate, we will be meeting with the brokerage firm Stifle for financing and seeing about a construction loan or whatever, and who USDA is going to require, because we're going to have a construction loan anyway before, because that's how it usually works. You go through a construction loan, they pay the construction, we turn that in to USDA, it comes back to that construction loan. That's paid as we work our way through this. So we're not out of we're not completely out of WSRF funding. It's just that they want us to go that extra step to find if USDA is willing to partner with them and how much. So I just figured I'd let you guys know exactly where we're at. Yeah, we got turned down, but we still have the ability to go forward and reapply.
Why does the state only give you 6 months to commence?
Well, that was with the amount of enforcement order when we appealed, because remember they said we wanted to have 1 month the BDR done, 2 months this, so
It's all painfully coming back to you.
yeah, we put it on timelines so that it wasn't just on us, it was also it had to come from them. They had to make the approval of the down. They had to make an approval of the pre-treatment before saying, hey, well, you didn't meet your deadline. Well, how can we meet our deadline when we didn't meet yours?
Thank you.
George? So Jim, will this change anything from our enforcement order?
No,
Is it effective at all?
no, it's still in process of all the things we do our, progress reports and all of that on a quarterly basis. And those are all up to date. Everything's, we have no problems. We still meet every, the first or the second Tuesday of every month with all of the CDPHE, engineers, inspectors, all of that. All the higher ups with them, and they know that we're in this process and it's taking place and everything's been put in place.
Good. Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, next we have a payout for Swedish. There was a mistake, from the one that I put in the packet. I got, back, the amount is actually $42,062 and 61 cents instead of the 42,062. So, or the 42,131.32.
$60.
Yeah. So there was a mistake. It was cleared up. That's what we'll be voting on is that tonight to move forward with it.
More questions? Go ahead. Did you say no?
I said no, sir.
No. Once you got that email, as well, correct? That kind of disturbing to me that we have our GMS can't seem to get their invoices straight. That's been the second time.
Well, what it was is they have to hold a certain amount back until the job is completed on a percentage basis.
I think it's one. Doing this one. Yeah, 6. So because this project has gone on for so long, and Andrew Swedish had to demobilize and leave, AAP 6, you guys authorized to pay the retainage, the amount that we held back, the 5%. And so we decided to go ahead and pay him for the interim until he came back. The thing is that we did make a mistake. One of our secretaries took vacation. I know she's not allowed to, not anymore. But we ended up making a mistake about that retainage. We didn't take that into account, so we have to put that back. So we actually ended up taking money away from him. Now we have to put that back. Does that kind of make sense? And then there's also we're just including the amount of work that he's done in this last week. Normally we do it once a month. Payouts go from, once a month, but we just decided to go ahead and bring us up to date. So there is a percentage of work he has completed.
It was $70?
Yeah,
60 or 70.
60 something.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
So this request for payment, the request for payment on the email was different. There was one for GMS and one for Swedish, I think.
No, you're looking at, bills payable. That was the ones that we voted at the last meeting because we had gotten it late and there was an extra zero in the sheet. It was right when Lori went on vacation. So Lori came back on Monday and I brought it to her attention. By the time we got it back out, it was Tuesday. So when you got it on Tuesday night, you voted, you paid for it. That's why on bills payable, you have GMS, you have Swedish for those amounts that the checks were made after we did your bills payable.
Okay.
And that's why it's on this bills payable and moving forward. So we aren't paying them 200,000 for twice.
So there is no request for payment to GMS here.
No. This is all Swedish. Okay? Hope that clears it all up.
Okay.
CCAC review. We're moving on. We have, 3143 Lunar Drive, a 6-foot fence. That it was spec out by Larry Bird. He's approved it. There's paperwork on it as to even, standing as to what the county planning said on it, that they are not they are not in that. The fence is going to be inside their property line as drawn. That is on the building side.
Question for
Now, next you have, got the notes. On complaint side of CCAC, there is 5 first letters that are going out. I gave you the letters as to why and where. If you want any further information, you have the packets with pictures. I figured I didn't want to load down the file with pictures and why they're doing it. It's the description as to why they're sending the letters.
All these complaints are legitimate. I've seen all these. So we are still complaint based only, correct?
Yes,
So do we have a copy of the complaint filed the complaint?
yes, it's in the packet.
Okay.
And do those 5 complaints come from 5 different people?
I believe so.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. I just know that one of them that involves the automobile, I believe that property is, taxes are being paid by somebody who's purchased, paying the back taxes on it. I believe so.
But it's gonna take 3 years.
Well, I know, but see, they're paying the taxes, so I'm just wondering how a letter to the party who's responsible, if they're not paying their taxes. Yeah. They're not gonna look at them.
If I may,
Yeah,
if they default on their obligations, so we assess the fine, doesn't it go on their tax bill?
Yes.
So, huh? About whoever's paying the taxes is gonna have to pay the fine?
I guess
It
so.
all depends on how it's filed.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, we have to do 3 letters and then decide if we wanna act, right?
Yeah.
Is that our process?
Yes.
So,
Okay.
No, it's the 2 letters and then the 3rd letter, you start assessing funds.
And then it becomes a tax,
It can be a tax lien if they don't pay their funds.
it can be,
it could be, yes, okay.
and if I'm not mistaken, this party also has not paid their system development fees. It says on here,
Yeah.
fees to CCMD, $242. That sound right?
And that goes on the taxes.
Yeah, so there it is. I'm just
So-
saying.
No.
also, I think there will be another letter that goes out to the, location on Culpeper Court. What happens too often on these properties is that they're sold by the actual registered owner on a land sale contract that doesn't show up it's not registered, it's not recorded with the clerk and recorder. And our regulations state, or our procedure regulations state that we will send a letter to the registered owner with the Porter County clerk and recorder. So the one on Culpeper Court, quite likely, as far as you can't trace those land sale contracts. So it quite likely has been sold that way. I asked Bob if he would also send a letter to the owner of record at Public County, which is 1124 Holdings LLC. And so there'll be 2 letters going out for that property. I think that's why, if we can get the local information, great, and he does a good job of doing that. But it also needs to go out to the owner of record.
Bobby?
I think,
No.
printing up this letter right now.
Okay, lovely.
Any input from the architectural committee? Okay. Question for? move on. Once the business board to be conducted in the most effective and expeditious manner, it is necessary that all persons present maintain a demeanor of civility toward board, staff, and each other. Conduct that appears threatening or aggressive will not be tolerated. Challenge speaking of order or use of offensive gestures similarly are not acceptable. Such behavior shall constitute the forfeiture of the right to remain in attendance and may, if the planning board brought to the board's attention by council or any board member, including the chairperson, result in being asked to leave the meeting by the chairperson or, upon refusal, being escorted out of the meeting by the proper authority. Citizens input. Anybody have anything to say about anything?
I do. I have Anthony Flores.
I just want some clarification on whose responsibility it is to clean out any clogged culverts.
It all depends upon whether it's a county road or a Colorado City main road.
So it would be underneath my driveway that's just adjacent to the Colorado City Road.
Is it I see you said Alaska.
Yes, sir.
So where, oh, are you down at the, by Saratoga or?
Yes.
So you're down in here. This is going Lawrence Road. And then, so
Oh,
you're
yeah, so
right at that,
right at that.
in that intersection.
Yes.
It is our road. We can get our back truck. I know that's one of the areas I was told, Aiden, but we've just been so swamped lately. We'll get it.
One of my concerns is I called the city and they told me that it was a county issue. So I just wanted to make sure that.
No,
that
I just need to know exactly if you say to Leslie, half of it's county and half of it's ours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how would you want me to move forward with that?
I'll get with Aiden and we'll, see if we can get the back truck out there and blow it out. And I know, your new neighbor down below, I've talked to him because I know the culvert underneath the road is the one that's really blocked.
Right.
And it's causing everything to go up above and wash out all the work that we've done before. And also his driveway culvert, I think, is blocked too, so we need to flush both those culverts out, get it flowing. I understand, I went up there, it was probably a week and a half ago, and we've got his and yours, and we have it on our schedule to get it done.
Perfect.
Okay?
So what you're saying though is that the water is damaging our road.
Yeah.
So it would be in our best interest to get it done ASAP.
Yeah.
Okay,
We didn't worry about
To
it,
Anthony Flores.
because I know he came in, and I think what happened too is a lot of it, when we hauled in all that gravel to redo all of Saratoga and Trelasa, that now with the rains and stuff, it is washed into the ditches and caused a lot of the backup too. Because there wasn't that way before we did all of it, but everybody was happy with the road that we did. Now it's, they're not out, condition, no. We won't pull the shoulders with the grader.
So, Jim, what do you use to flush that?
We'll use that truck like we do a sewer line and, high pressure jet it through it. Might take 30 loads to get it all the way through, but once you get broke through, then it start washing and cleaning it out.
When can Mr. Flores expect that?
I'm not sure, I'll have to, they can find out when we can. I know for the next 2 weeks, we might be able to get it sooner, we'll see. So within the next 2 weeks,
Within a couple of weeks?
yes.
That work?
Great.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, there are no other comments or anything, I'm gonna close this meeting. So the first is open the rest meeting, and we're going to Tuesday, August 26th, 6:35. Beginning of the
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
During the moment of silent reflection, if you so choose. Thank you. As the minute shows, all board members are present. We have a full quorum. And give an approval of the agenda. Chairman, I have a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda. About the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes for study session and regular meeting August 12, 2025. CCACC minutes August 12, 2025.
Second.
Moving second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we pay the bills.
Second. Moving second, with questions, discussion. We have a bill again for, reimbursement for gravel sewer backup. For Aaron,
Yes, that was, Aaron and Adams, where we said, that and everything else, and now that we solved the problem, we're paying to put the gravel back and make it back the way it was. So that's what we agreed with.
Part of the north part.
Yeah.
Van Daniel.
so is that,
We had to buy it.
landscaping?
Yes, we had to buy the rock, and, he asked her, do you want us to place it, whatever? She says, no, you just give me pay for my rock, and I'll put it back to where we want it. And that was right there in front of their house where we dug and did the gas line. It's been a fiasco there. Yeah.
So that's complete now. We're out, off the hook on all the rest of that.
Unless she needs more, gravel for it or whatever, decorative stone, and we'll have to reimburse that. But this is what she estimated she needed right now and had it all did, and she hasn't finished laying it out. So at that point, we'll figure that.
Yeah. Little Diggers, we had to build a Little Digger for the digger down cleanup, is that complete?
Yes, and we ended up, we couldn't get in there with our backhoe to stop the problem of it coming, because all that is infiltration of the old sewer line from the golf course. That they abandoned, it goes down, crosses, the highway, comes down behind Ace Hardware, and right by our shop, there's a manhole. Either that line had collapsed or it got, we tried jetting it, we couldn't get through with it. So, we looked at trying to dig it ourselves with Joe and Matt being there and their equipment that they had. They had an extended reach and they were also on tracks. They were able to dig the ditch for us, relay the pipe, and that's why there was the extra, $3,000 to, get it complete because it was overflowing and running into somebody else's property. So we needed to get it fixed, and now it's down goes where the beaver dams, used to be, and it goes out to where it needs.
We end up trapping the beavers? That is how about the traps?
They never moved forward with it, I never heard anything about it.
Oh,
Delicious. I mean, they're coming back, right?
Probably will, but they moved all the wood and stuff out, they'll have to haul it, get it back there.
So did their, when they did that for the beaver dam, did that, how they dropped the whole good away?
No, it was just to clean and break out the ditch so that ground free.
It's pushed up on the sides, Neil, away from the creek. It's not, they didn't haul anything away, they took it 20, 30 yards away.
Or we need to haul away?
No.
That's all the question I have.
Are the beavers recycle that? Or how far away does that be?
I don't know, hopefully we can travel in between.
We need to call Dennis, get him on.
Yeah. Oh, that's good old Dennis, find out.
Well, I guess that's some of it. We have a Amazon, real Olympic dumbbell, and either rowing machine for talking to that.
Yes, that is part of our weight room that we've been working on for our employees and stuff that Josh has turned, one of the buildings that hasn't been used, he's made it into, kind of gym for our employees to go up, part of our health regimen, their insurance, stuff like that.
It's a good benefit.
I have a key, I have a key, this has a key, just don't have. Working tired.
Well, we actually advertise that as a benefit in the heart.
No, not yet, until we get it all ready to go.
Roberta was introduced to that when she started.
Pardon me?
Roberta was introduced to portions of that, yes, when she started. So it's coming forward. It's just a matter of getting it all together.
If you notice, we do have pages that we added there for our credit cards, Amazon, Visa, MasterCard, all of them. They are ACHs, which it helps us keep from paying any penalties. Last year, we bought the MasterCard back and forth about 5, 6 times, that we weren't meeting their date. We were sending them to check in. I even had them change the due dates. So that way, our first meeting, we sent the check and gave it 15 days. They'd still come back that they never got the check or it got there, but they didn't cash it.
So we're paying them electronically
Yes, we're paying them.
and it's in real time, so
So it's there, so we won't get any more late charges on any of our credit cards or anything like that. But
It also assists me in reconciling by doing the ACH the way that we started doing that. It helps me on my side to reconcile bank accounts easier.
Well, I like that. I think for these cases where we have a broken down, helps us as well. The two sides of this help.
the only bad thing about it is it don't come out on the general ledger as bills payable. That's why they're going to the individual sheets on that.
I think that works. Okay, anything else, Ward? All right, let's go to pay the bills, huh?
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes,
Bob, yes, Ray,
yes.
Chair votes yes.
Okay, next you have the financial report. Financial is under your section 8, the yellow one. I kind of skipped it here, missed one. The first part of it you have is the summary for what we've taken in water-wise from this year and last year and the year before. We have that broke down. We asked Duke to have that. If you notice, we have increased, once it started getting hot and we didn't have rain. So we're working our way back.
But
We're still below.
it looks to me like we're down about 19% right now.
Yeah.
That sounds good, Christie? And so maybe we'll talk about that when we talk about financing for projects. Because if we're down revenue, that's scary for me. I don't understand the complete financing picture when we drop the bond. But, if your revenues are down, that can't be good.
No, so that's fine. So then you have your balance sheet and also, the ledger as to where we're at, income wise per fund, sewer, water, admin, parks and rec, swimming pool, all of that is included. Looks like we're on schedule with a lot of it. There's a couple that we might overcharge, but then also our revenue has increased too in some of those areas.
Well, the billing summaries are the two statements we have for 23 and 25.
24 on that.
24 is on the back.
Pardon me?
24 is on the back.
Well, I got a ton of people. Okay. All right. Any questions, Joe? Thanks, Russ. How we doing on
Coming close. We're almost there.
we have to extend that, we're not going to.
We're not gonna extend it back. I actually did leave a message for, Nancy this morning. Nancy's the one that I work closest with. So I did leave a message to contact her to let her know where I'm at this point. I didn't speak with her again today, so if I don't hear from her first thing in the morning, I'll contact her and.
Operational, Jim?
Operational, like that with, measurements there, everything's staying, one of the things is I know it's after August 1st, and we should be down to our level, with all the rains lately. I'll tell you what, I looked tonight, and we're back up to about 14.5. So, we're trying to get it down, but actually, all of our tanks are full, everything's going good at this point, except for figuring out little things that we're working on with the bladder. They did, sanitize the bladder, and it's ready to go. There was just some concerns. We thought the bladder was gonna slide and come up. And actually, it's basically just lifting friction on the side. Well, we thought, as it would get taller. Well, it didn't, it just got taller this way, so we only gained like a foot where we thought it's gonna pull it up another 2 foot or whatever, and then out. So we're looking at our inlet, we're gonna have to do some, modification on it to shorten the hose up, so that way we have more of a direct, fill and pull out of that bladder. Keep everything working right. So it's things that we're working on to get there to hopefully have it ready by next week. And that's why it's been back and forth, trying to get all of this stuff done, plus billing and, take our regular service calls. But you guys have all been busy. I know Greg, Gary, myself would be in our head with this wall, trying to come up with ideas of how to do it and all of that.
While we're talking tanks, didn't see the schedule.
You didn't send me the new one.
The new one, yeah, I know, but
It's in your packet still.
it's something that, the
In
old
the
ones.
back.
Okay, everything going okay? Have there been any unforeseen delays?
Just the one that Andrew said that he was running about 12 days behind.
Well, with the bugs and stuff, I remember that, so yeah, that's the one that I
I
want
was gonna say, yeah, you're gonna lose a little bit this week as well with all the rain that we're getting. I was kind of expecting him to be here.
He's on line.
Yeah, you talked to him about kind of where he's projecting that he's gonna finish. I expected the rain maybe another week or two, which is kind of buying us time. It's kind of been a blessing in disguise. It's gonna buy us time to figure out this bladder issue. But I would agree with what Jim said. Yeah, there's just this collapsible hose that's key as the bladder fills up. We're gonna have to maybe take a little off, but we got some solutions that we're gonna be trying out.
So I just need somebody to send me who's keeping track of the weather days, are you?
It's between Andrew and I.
Okay, Just get together, tell me how many it is. I mean, I can always check online, but I'd rather get it first in writing from you guys. And I'll update, that's why I haven't updated the new schedule, because I need to see that. We can be track of the weather day, so I can excuse those, quote unquote.
So one of the concerns I've got, it's all on Kareem to update that schedule and tell us where we're at. Really ought to be high priority for you and your probably, but to be making sure we're leveraging the schedule to tell us predictions of where we're gonna land, date wise on different things. So each one of these little delays can add to it, but we need to be a priority in your eyes for Kareem. He's producing it on behalf of yourself and Andrew, so you guys don't have to fool with that, but we need it to serve its purpose, and it's not serving that purpose right now. You tend to know we're a couple weeks behind, but what does a couple weeks behind mean further out there?
And
There's recovery opportunity and that kind of.
And it assists me to make sure my guys are on schedule to get this up and get it ready. Cause like I told them last week, we needed to sterilize that tank and get it. No more holding off, we need to.
Hey, we need tank one ready to go as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And they've been working hard at getting it going. Like I said, I mean, we've been fortunate with the weather and the delays. Andrew is not waiting, saying, hey, I'm ready to mobilize. Why is tank one not ready in rain? I'm ready to work. So we're actually, like I said, that's a blessing.
But from a schedule perspective, that's only speaking to the immediate story of the schedule of 21. It doesn't let us benefit from everything that's scheduled to do. Predictive nature of the impact of what's going on now downstream, so we can be talking about is there actions we need to be thinking about. Joe has to plan this crew around other things, so clearing up culverts and stuff. So we're just not benefiting from it other than to get a paper in our book that tells a story. It needs to be a management tool. We should be concerned, Andrew should be looking at himself, but we should be looking at the broader picture, impact downstream and helping all of our fellows.
That's a good point.
So it sounds to me like it's a communication issue. Simply just a quick email.
That's all I need. I'm not gonna be chasing anybody, so please just send it to me and I'll make sure that it makes it, so next time at the board meeting, I can get it over to Jim so he can put it in everybody's books. But, and it's, all I need is the weather days tallied, and for example, I know there was extra scope with Andrew having to, listen, he had to sand the bugs that got stuck in the paint and stuff like that. That's understandable, you want quality, so giving an extra day or two because that extra scope was added and they were taking care of it that way doesn't affect, what was it, they were stuck on the primer or something?
They're,
the
first, go ahead.
When they stuck in the paint on the
Yeah.
first coat.
There was one of those days there was a lot of bugs, like, well, the paint was fresh and a bunch of them got stuck. And when I mean a bunch, I mean, I saw a picture, I don't know if you guys have.
Yeah.
A lot, so they had to actually physically go there and sand them on.
Yeah, no, the first coat that we tried, we used regular primer. It seems that the first primer that he uses a, it's kind of like a primer and a final coat all in one. It's called Shiloxine. And they use a hardener that takes a little bit longer to harden, or to get a film so that bugs can't crawl in. In that first one, the bugs just seem to find it as like honey, and they just, and then they have death spirals across the surface. And he modified that, so, he was gonna use a hardener that was going to set faster. So instead of 8 hours, he was gonna be 2 hours. And that seemed to have done a big trick. They're still getting it a little bit, but what he's gonna do to modify that is he's gonna do a final coat on the shot.
It's just, I know that that's one on my notes, I have that as a allow for extra days because that, took a day or two to get taken care of, so I'm not gonna punch the schedule on that, but to Bob's credit, which by the way, thank you. Yeah, we need to keep track of those so I can update the schedule and I can discuss it with the board.
And like I say, and also get it to you and Andrew, so you guys can be living by it. And so you have more of a sense of, you're predicting and using it as a predictive tool as well, so that you can bring things to our attention way downstream, so we can look at it. That's the opportunity, but waiting for just a board meeting isn't timely enough to get actions and get coordinated with like Jim's staff. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, the other part was, water bill, and I also threw in, Gary's report from last meeting as to, what we produced. So we're about 6 million gallons different, which is better than 8 or 10 that we've had. So we're moving forward. I know,
Somehow in July, every year, it's better.
it gets closer and closer. So I don't know whether it's
Did it fall off?
usage or what.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a track from what, 2019
19.
and what we produce and what we bill for. And it seems like always June and July and August, they just kind of, we don't lose anything, but then all of a sudden it comes back. And December and January are usually our worst for water loss.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
So, I was mentioning earlier, that our water revenues are down, but consequently, the tanks are all full.
Mhm.
So our production costs must be down a little bit, right?
No,
No,
absolutely not.
Stay standard.
I mean, just chemical wise, right? No?
We were catching up. We had that one skid down for all
I
year.
see. Okay.
So now that we're caught back up, that production level was way up there. We were going 600,000 gallons a day to get caught up.
And the thing is with the rain now, you drop down your production's what, about 300?
I didn't look this morning. We're still filling, so.
But when it's hot, you can see that production is anywhere from 500 to 700,000 for that day.
Yeah, we always average 380,000 gallons a day.
Committee reports. Well, Brent, anything?
So, yeah, unfortunately, I had to miss the Zoom meeting, so I had to defer to Jim and Ray on that. And it does look like the workers email information started to go back and forth. We do need to designate Jim as a delegate for the meeting. Probably.
That'll be Thursday.
Thursday, I'm gonna see.
Well, she said she had a date on Wednesday and Thursday, and then she just said, and kind of hard to pull them out through all the emails, but Thursday, there are 2 time periods. It sounds like there's a lunch break. There's one right before lunch and one right after lunch.
Yeah.
And I'm for delegating Jim too.
Yeah, she made.
I might sit in though.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
I appreciate you guys sitting in because there's things that you bring different than I might be thinking.
Sure. The question is, and since we're talking about it, it's going to be hard for somebody just to give us money just for an irrigation project on a golf course. We're going to have to combine, we're going to have to jump through some hoops. We're going to have to get some other state and federal agencies involved. That means it's going to have to be, this is my opinion, it's going to have to be a bigger picture idea than just pipes in the ground. And I don't know what the idea is yet.
One of the things that we've been throwing around with her and even Chicago and me is bringing it into a more conservation district type situation where we have no building. It will be 100 years that, and it might be taking the old golf course and converting that, which that's what we're looking at as a trails aspect of it is for bird watching and different things, which it's all green belt anyway. And it is kind of more of a wash because any of the water and stuff would be a ravine. And we have some ponds there and working at it more at that angle as than a golf course. Yeah. This is a whole package from from Holly Dock to the links course to the old golf course and making it all, conservation trust site situation. And that's one of the things that we're looking at is trying to, how do we pull out the lots and houses and keep that all just into a trust? So that's one of the questions that we're working on too. The thing is this meeting that we're gonna have either on Wednesday or Thursday is with CWCB, which is, Conservation Water Board, which we've already got grants. Hopefully we can get an engineering grant because we have had an engineering grant with them for 50 in match. So there's some of that, Friends of Holly Dot, when I sit down and talk to them and I tell them, you've got all this money, don't spend it, but we can spend it to help us in that kind of aspect. That CWCD can give us 50,000 and we come up with 25,000 and if they come up with 20,000 or whatever, that would pay for that engineering grant to make this process go. So there is things that we're looking at and how we can do it. She was surprised when I did send her all the information from Valley First. She says, man, this lady wrote a grant for everybody and anybody.
That's a lot of information.
So she was, when I told her, no, we can't go there, no, we have a grant for them, no, we can't.
Well, the reason I bring it up, just to be brief, is, I think that, we might be looking at the idea, again, just my opinion, of getting, an expert planner. Somebody who's designed, recreation areas like, I think of the park system up in Fort Collins, any of you who have enjoyed that. It's, got some paths, it's got a couple gazebos for picnics, mostly grass. It's, something that, but some kind of a plan, some kind of a design. I'm just wondering, since you're the delegate, I'm just wondering if that's maybe something we need to bring up.
Well, that's what I'm looking at.
Because, somebody professionally capable of coming up with an idea of how to develop that space, and maybe help us with the grant.
And that's what I'm saying is, if we get this engineering that we can do that as well as the water system and all of that would be all inclusive in this project.
So maybe, we ought to offer anyway, the trails project or the trails engineering that we've done for the west course there. Because if there's gonna be conservation, that could be included, because that does have a lot of engineering down.
And one of the things is we did get a GOCO grant for the football field. And I did call our rep for our area, say, okay, is there a possibility for any more GOCO money at this time? If we put in, do you think we have a shot at doing it? He says, no, not likely. Get your project finished. Once it's finished, it's gonna probably take you another year to a year and a half before you come back on the list where we're willing to give you money. But actually, we might end up giving you more money because you finished this. So.
Yeah, the one thing Coco hates is giving projects that end up halfway done or never take off.
Okay, anything else? So, Friends, newsletter next, I guess?
Yeah, I'm gonna work with you tomorrow. I'll get him all the information.
How about, any activity on insurance?
I have a report.
Good.
So I may.
Go
I
ahead.
have a meeting with Pueblo Community College, I just spoke to their dean, and by the way, Commissioner Paula McFeeder from the Board of County Commissioners come from, she was, I believe, Dean of Financial Assistance of PCT, and I'm misquoting her title most likely. She retired, she was the one who set it up with them. And we have a meeting not next week, the one after, and it will be at PCC on Tuesday, right before this meeting, so I'll be able to give a
Good.
report, but long story short, we've identified as part of us looking into this, that there's a humongous need. They called a few utilities. I spoke to Board of Waterworks for the city. I spoke to city sanitation. I spoke to, our guys. I spoke to Jim Blazing out in Pueblo West, and there's one common denominator. That is that every single plant operator that we spoke with jumped at the idea of taking interest to help with the plan because one, a good chunk of those will choose to stay if they like the work environment. But beyond that, it would be ideal for there to be a career path where students can come to Pueblo Community College and get the certifications needed. Imagine they come out trained, having worked 6 months under Greg and Gary or under Scott Burbidge at the water treatment plant for the city of Pueblo, and they come with their Class D operator's license or knowing qualifications. So it's going to be a full-on program that most likely will end up materializing again. Getting ahead of myself, but there seems to be both the desire on behalf of the university to put this together and the need of the market to soak up every single intern and professional that graduates for those certifications. So yeah, that's very well on its way. And again, she's not here listening, but I text her often enough to thank her. And Commissioner McFeeters will be present in the room because she's the one that's helping me organize all of this.
One of the things to add to that is great.
Yeah, it was Greg who started all of
Oh, okay.
it. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that you were sitting here. Last time we were on this on the camera, I gave you a shout out. I don't think you even heard me.
Yeah.
But yes, Greg was one of the first people that brought this up to our attention. I said, absolutely yes. That's how I got started in wastewater back in the day, through an internship. I know, I've come a long way. I miss the plants, really. It's fascinating.
We can help you.
Well, thank you.
Once you get used to not the smell, you don't want to go out.
vacation.
Apparently, that's what my wife told us, so.
Okay, good.
But I intend to have something to report out that time.
Thank you.
I do have a good contribution to make. It's not a committee, but, I was successful getting, Metro access to the state, contracts I told you about. So we've got a variety of, I'll be getting with Christie this week to do some training of all the systems that we use to access the contract. We'll figure out how many other workforce staff will be able to do it, because it's gonna get access to a lot of things, including companies like, National, Granger, a lot of the ones we see are what they're there for. Good, we'll do some homework and see if better prices or not, but it gives us an opportunity, so.
Thank you for that. Anything, nothing else, Jim?
No, Chairman's report, I don't have anything other than what we met on the WSIF. We were setting up a meeting with, financing.
All right, let's move on into the agenda.
Hey, agenda items, RJH contract.
And I'd like to make a motion, we do conditional approval of the change order with, the requirement for them to, agree to a February first edition of the fully completed design street SEO.
Second.
Moving second, questions, discussion. What is the amount? Is it the 135?
Yes, sir. Knowing that there's two items in there that are not completely yet, that are not being ever spent unless they're about to work on.
I understand the, timeliness of things, but I'm just not prepared to fund RJH when they have a year and a half late and they just won't respond until we get some kind of guarantee from them that they will. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I would just note that that's the point of putting the conditional on the approval, that they have to agree to formal things. So that we can have some things involving
I don't feel, but I'm not, well, I guess we do. The project plan approved, the project. There's approved. You know, some kind of contract. Stand by.
Well, the amendment would in essence become an amendment to the contract, so we get, within the modification that expands their budget and adds the scope, or rather ratifies the scope, we can make sure that it does include the February first deadline. Because we've kicked this so many times down the road, I think it's time to move forward. Yeah.
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
your vote's no. Bob? Yes. Ray?
Yes.
All right. What's the addendum?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the RFP addendum for language changes.
Moved and seconded. Questions, discussion? All right, let's vote. Ray?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. Chair votes yes. Glenn?
Yes.
Matt? Yes. Article eight,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the ARPA waiver request.
Second.
moved and seconded. Questions, discussion? Again, I reiterate, this is not going to GMF, this is going to Swedish, right? We don't have one pay request.
That's it.
All right, anybody else? Let's go. Rob? Yes. Ray?
Yep.
Glenn?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Full business, Jim?
Whole business, we've been busy on all the other things, but we haven't had time to get on all this old business. Meter change out, I don't think he had any of them, the last 2 weeks. As for Rosemont, Camelot, we're trying to get these things full, change filters, we built a bunch of stuff in the last 2 weeks. Right now, we're taking soil samples down at the sewer plant, for our overflow lagoon. State needs to have this information for that enforcement order. So that guy's running crazy all over the place.
So Jim, that, for that, kind of operation, that's.
But it ties into a lot of the old business that why isn't it winning?
So on Rosemont.
There isn't an excuse.
Camelot,
It's just we are busy.
Should we contract out Rosemont, Rose Door and Camelot?
I don't know whether you want to put somebody in that position to start tearing down, fences and stuff
Yeah, we gotta,
on other people's property.
we need to maybe have a strategy session on that.
Yeah.
And maybe a subcommittee and find out who's gonna wear the vests.
Yeah, that's a tough. That is a tough.
Well, the one on Camelot, it ain't gonna be a problem. It is our problem. The one that I see that we're gonna have a biggest problem on. He has a lot of investment.
So what should we do here?
That there, like, gonna have to, I'm just gonna have to go with the sheriff and say, this is it. We're pulling it out. I'll be here tomorrow with it, and sheriff will be with me. Make sure it's got
You're suggesting we have our own staff.
that.
Somebody else.
Good, but it's gonna have to probably have 2 or 3 sheriffs.
No,
It's not
the
just,
sheriff owes us.
it's just not going out there and turn it out. I know the one at Camelot, we could just go out there and tear it out. There's not gonna be any problem, because nobody's living there, nobody's, for this and somebody's living.
Well, we need to try to have a, I guess it's got.
Yeah. I'm going to listen to all ideas and going forward on that.
Who would be willing to get involved in that?
I don't know if that's.
I volunteer, I guess.
I will, I'll work with you guys on that. So if we got that up time to get there and talk about that.
Yeah, after Monday, so I'll send out.
That's Monday?
So when somebody's free. Because next Monday is a holiday, so it'll be after that.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
Not next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. If you could kind of coordinate with them and I then.
Yeah, we can do that.
Anybody else in the whole business? So, Jim, for the illustrious newspaper, the minutes of the Rye town meeting, we're still having a problem with notifying them of sewer meter.
No, we've taken care of that. I talked to them when I was up there. I explained the situation and from what I understood, they understood it as to what was going on. We had a guy come down and check it. We informed him that he was coming down to check it. We got it all straightened out. Actually, it was that processor is so slow. When even plugged in get the data drop on it, the data file out of it, it took longer than expected. I mean, that's what he says. There's such a slow processor for this meter that it's gonna take you 10, 15 minutes to get it. It isn't gonna be, you plug it in and gotta drop it and that's it. So he's understanding it now and we're moving forward with it. We did get the read for July, which will be, or actually, you went and got it, and we have it for August now, so it will be the actual numbers that, I told them, we're using what you used last year and trying to make it right. And they understood that it's mechanical error, if they wanted to be notified in this, yes, we will make sure that you are notified anytime anybody goes up there to adjust the camera or whatever it may be.
So we're on top of it.
Yeah.
They're okay with it now.
We put in 3 different set points on that meter in the processor. So we've got a 10-second, 15-second, and a 20-second read. So we're trying to make it where it's catching up and trying to be faster than, we're trying to make it faster than what it is. It's basically. It's just.
It's kind of and I appreciate the work that you're doing on it. It's kind of a PR shit for us. We gotta, that's look good when we're focusing filters if we're not guided by that.
No, I don't understand this. When I was at that meeting, it was never brought up.
That's what you brought before. I was trying to talk about.
I don't know whether Terry brought it from the meeting before and carried on or what, but.
Okay. All right, anything else, board? Full business. Let's move on to new business, Jim. Anything?
Other than working on getting ready to try and take one of them, I have nothing to do right now.
Board? All right, we're going to GGA
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the fence, 3143 Wheeler Drive.
Second. Moving second, any questions? Discussion. All right, let's vote. Clint,
Yeah.
Corinne,
Yes.
Bob, yes, Ray,
Yep.
Joe votes yes. And the letters,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we send out 5 first letters to the named parties.
I'll second.
moved and seconded, question, discussion. So is it not fixed now? You better, is, I got it ready for you. So we'll have 6 instead of 5.
But one of them is on the
Same
property.
Same property. So the one on Culpeper is going to 2 different addresses.
And it's ready to go. So we need to make a motion.
Yes, let's amend, I will suggest we amend that motion. Who made the motion?
I did.
Okay, Ray made the motion.
Simply, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to withdraw my motion.
And second, I guess is automatically withdrawn. You want to remake it?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to approve 6 letters for covenant violations to the named parties to the correct addresses.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Now, question, discussion. All right, we're clear. Ray, how do you vote?
Yes.
Corinne?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. Clint? Yes. And Joe votes yes. Correspondence, yeah, anything? Yeah,
Nothing other than what I talked about for meetings and stuff that we, like, attended and don't follow with.
anything else, board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Moved and seconded. What's yours?
For you guys, one of these things we do.